How's everybody? It looks like we're live here in the Squatch Zone. And you can say the Squatch Zone is nearly everywhere. At least everywhere you can tune in. And I would say that's just about everywhere. And I'm finding that Bigfoot likes to hang out in the chat zone or the Squatch Zone. And I mean just about everywhere. A lot more places than I thought he would be. So recently, we went out and we followed the river bottoms, and I kind of wanted to do a little recap of what led me into the flatlands or the Central Valley, away from the mountains. Howdy, Connie. I thought I would let everybody get into chat tonight. Maybe I ought to fix that camera just a little bit. Howdy, Adolf. Hey, isn't that cool that McKinsey put that video up? I already watched it twice, man. He did a really good job on that. I don't know why he made it free for everybody now, but it's so cool. That's a really good video. He did really good. In fact, if somebody wants to, they can put the link up in the chat, and so everybody can watch it that from anywhere. Hi, Dayanara, and I hope I said that right. Hello, Ivy and P and Ronald, and I already said hi to Adolf and Connie. Yeah, it surprised me that he had that up, and maybe he made his money back already from sales. I'm not sure. I know he could have put the link up for a little while more, and just priced it a little bit lower. And if like I never could find the link, if I could have found the link, I would have spread it around, on here or anywhere. But only, hey, cool, free is cool. A lot of people can't afford. People like me, I can't afford to really spend, $2 or $3 or even $4 to watch something on the internet. But only I can handle for free. That's for sure. Hi, James and Southpaw. How are you guys? Yes, yeah. So tonight, first, I want to say thank you, Mackenzie, for putting that video out. It's a really good video, very very well done, and I do say that hi, Karen, how are you? A newbie in the chat. I will say that he like, you would think he was a seasoned um, director, because I mean that is really high quality video, and I like the way he pieced the story together and stuff like that, and I mean, really impressive. I was impressed the first time, and I was impressed again. So impressed, I watched that video twice. I mean, really good video. And I think if anybody wants to watch it, what we're talking about is the 101102. And if you Google, let me see if I can put it in chat. It's I think you type all the words, right, like that. You type that in, and I noticed he has it in Vimeo, and he also has it in available to watch in YouTube. And now, speaking of YouTube, today, I've been really busy today, and I haven't been like on Facebook or very much. I mean, just like when we stop somewhere, I have a minute, I'll check my phone, and I don't, for some reason, my phone doesn't have a lot of memory, so I don't have Messenger on my phone, even though it shows me that I have messages. every time I go to look at it, it says you have to, add Messenger, and I don't have enough space on the phone. But I did, I was able to watch the video on the phone and check Facebook, and I was noticing that there's quite a few people losing their Facebook, their YouTube channels because of that. What's his name? I don't even want to say the name because you might lose the channel, But they're talking about that shooting in Florida and how there's some paid actors, and the whole thing is like really coming out to be a real bad setup. And they're actually, like, one guy that I've known for a long time. He used to call in the Paranormal Central show all the time, and he talked about, I guess, the shooting in Las Vegas and then the shooting in Florida, and then put some pictures up. And he had a good, 50,000 subscribers, and no hits, no copyright hits, no rule hits or anything, on his YouTube. And then because he put that one video up, they hit him 3 times at the same time and deleted his channel, just like that, bam. And I thought, wow, and then a little while later, I heard there was some more that were losing their channels, and then I heard there was some that got their channel back after some of the larger YouTube content makers, or whatever you want to call people that make videos, that have, like 250,000 or 300,000 subscribers. They talked about that, and some of them got their channel reinstated, and I guess warned, play by the rules or you lose your YouTube. And I think it's really messed up too. People like the guy I know, his whole life is doing YouTube. I mean, that's his work. That's what he does. I mean, I never would get like that. Even if I started making money where I could, quit doing whatever, I would not rely on it. It's something, you do and you have fun. I look at it as a hobby. I mean, YouTube didn't have to pay you in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't expect anything. I just do whatever I do and have a good time and stuff like that. And if I wind up making a boo-boo and I lose my YouTube channel, I didn't lose anything. Like, I didn't lose my car or my house or anything because I was relying on the YouTube money to pay for anything. If you know what I'm saying. But it's really a trip how everything's cracking down lately, and you have to be politically correct. I mean, you have to go with the narrative of the news, and whatever the news is spewing, and we know it's all mostly lies. If you spew that on your YouTube channel, then you're fairly safe. But if you tell the truth on YouTube channel about any of this political stuff, you're cutting your own throat. Even though it is the truth, you're still cutting your own throat. There is some other places you could go, and I know it doesn't have your million bazillion subscribers or whatever, but they have a thing called DTube or something like that, and it's open source. None of the stuff that you got to go through with YouTube, but the AI checking everything and all that kind of stuff. And you don't get paid either, through sharing. So, but you can say whatever you want. So you might want to save your videos and just in case, and then go over there and say whatever you want and say the truth, and then go over here in YouTube and just entertain, I guess. Howdy, John and Walba. And wow, there's a whole bunch of people coming in here. Let me see. Karen Sebastian, I said, yeah. Hi. Roland, yep. Adolf and Walba and John. Hey, everyone. Yeah, so tonight I have my phone ready in case people want to call in with their story or they have anything they want to talk about Squatchy. But what I wanted to start off doing was I wanted to talk about how, like, recently I've spent more time in the Central Valley than I have in the mountains, and that's only recently. Like, out of the 30 years that I've been looking for Bigfoot, 25 of those years, I would say 25, most, yeah, 27 intensively looking in the mountains, with a couple of those 27 making it 25, because actually it was like around 5 years ago when I first started hearing about Bigfoot in the valley. And at first, I could see, where Bigfoot would want to go in the valley. I mean, there's all kinds of food, and there's small game, and there's little animals, and people. There's gardens and fruits and nuts and vegetables, and just about everything. It's like a freaking grocery shopping. I mean, they could just go down through the valley, just and different all year round. There's something different, that's ready being harvested. Like in the wintertime, there's oranges and stuff like that, and then spring hits and there's a bunch of stuff. Hey, Sword Point. No, I didn't. I thought I saw your name come up, but only I don't have the messenger on my phone, and that was the only thing I had until I got here and could get on the computer. But I only had like 15 minutes to get on, and I haven't checked my messenger. I got added. What happened with the messenger, besides not having it on my phone, I keep getting added to these messenger groups where, like 20, 30 people. And my messenger goes crazy, like all kinds of messages, and they're all in there, these groups. And I keep taking my, leave the group, leave the group, leave the group. And about as fast as I could leave them, I get added to them. So if I miss anybody's messages, I am so sorry. I don't know how to make it where I don't get added to groups in Messenger by default. Hopefully, I could do that. It's, yeah, Facebook PM. I don't have that, but you have my main number, and you can always text me on my phone. I think you're the only one that in chat. Maybe Adolf has it, but you have my main phone number, so you can text me on that one, the one we talked on the other night. Yeah, only there some of them are my friends, really good friends, and they're getting added to the groups, and I don't know how. I don't know if they're adding me to it or if somebody else is adding me, but it's intense, when you even though I don't have it on my phone, it still notifies me, and I'll get like 100 and something notifications, overnight. It's like craziness. If I turn on the sound, it's always, bring, bring, bring. Like, wow. It's, I could dance to that music, really, really. I just keep leaving him. I've told him and everything, and doesn't really do anything. And then, on my phone, I only have a couple of apps that I use. I have a PayPal app that I use to shop with, for like Best Buy and stuff like that. Like when you guys are real generous and you put stuff in my PayPal, when I have enough in there, I'll go in and I'll buy a piece of equipment, a little here, a little there, slowly building up. And if I or I could do it, shopping, and order it online and wait for it to get to me. But sometimes like SD cards and stuff like that, I'll have a SD card go bad, and then the camera won't work. So I need a new SD card, or a battery will fry, and I could just run down and pick it up and be on the road. So those apps, like, and then I have Facebook on there, and then I have YouTube, and those three apps pretty much they take up all the memory I have. And I got to have YouTube because I could go live if I'm out and about and something comes up, I'll go live. And then I was wondering, a couple days ago, I was doing laundry and I was at the laundromat. I don't know if I can see Skype. Not right now, I can't. But only I have my phone. I have the other phone in case people want to call. Let me see. I can't remember the number, but it is. Oh, whoops. Let's see, we got this. Oh, there's supposed to be a dash right there, right? It's not making a dash. I have that one on right now. See, now I have in my phone, I have a big chip. I have a 32 gigabyte SD card in my phone, but it only lets me put pictures and songs and stuff like that. It doesn't let me add apps to it. That wants to be applied to the memory of the phone for some reason. You can move some of it over to the SD card, but not. It doesn't put a lot. So it's kind of a bummer on that. Like maybe I better keep an eye on this if somebody calls too, because I have the sound off. Let me see here. I'm gonna turn the sound on a little bit here. Okay, there we go. Oh, is somebody calling already? All right, let me see. Oh, I think I missed the call playing around. I don't know what I did. But yeah. So I'm losing. A lot of my friends are losing their Facebook by talking about some of this Florida shootings and stuff like that. Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. And the world is getting weird, and I think that's why we're seeing more Bigfoot in the world. I actually believe that the veil is getting thin, and we're seeing a lot more UFOs. We're seeing Bigfoots, more Bigfoots, weird, little people, evil knowns, you know, all kinds of different kinds of animal, weird chimera type stuff. I'm sorry. What's the other one? It's like the dinosaur bird, pterodactyls sightings. Everything is on the rise, and people are seeing more and more of it. We're living in a really trippy time right now. And I don't know whether to say it's a blessing to live in this time. I know some people are scared to death of it, and they're scared for tomorrow. I feel like that we wouldn't even be here. I think we're put here like a special mission, and we're supposed to be here, and we need to figure out what it is that we're here for, because there's a reason for us being here to live in this time. I think it's interesting and fun and all that. Let me see. We got. I think I'm only getting texts. Yeah, so far just text. but I'm pretty sure that the reason we're here is because we were meant to be here, and for some reason for me, Sasquatch or Bigfoot and aliens and actually the whole paranormal thing, but Bigfoot especially, that was like my initiation into the world of paranormal. I mean that's what shook me out of my what I thought was the world and the real world and all that. I mean that shook me to my core. That changed my life. So I know, I think that was like a precursor or like a heads up to me that the paranormal is going to be in my life from that point on, right? And I actually for a while there was expecting it to be more than it was, and but then here we are 30 years later, and looking backwards with hindsight 2020, I could see where it actually was increasing with regularity, and more and more and more until today where it's like off the hook, you know. So I think all of us are here for a reason in this weird world time frame that we're in. In fact, and that brings me to the Bigfoot. Like everybody was thinking the Bigfoot was up in the mountains, and you had to drive afar to get there, and he was in secluded areas, and you know there was only maybe one Bigfoot in the whole United States, or one, in Alaska, and one in Oregon, and everybody over the years they were just seeing him, this one, here and there. And then in the last 10 years, it's starting to get like they're seeing more than one, and then the sightings increased and everything. And then a few years ago, like 5 years ago, the reports started being that they're in the Central Valley, and the Central Valley is real heavily populated, and there's freeways running across it. There's interstates. There's commerce and farms and people. Like I think just in my county alone, there's over a million something people just in the county I live in. I mean, in the city, there's like 500 and something thousand, right? So you're not expecting Bigfoot to be running around where there's all these people at. Well, come to find out, it doesn't even matter if the river runs right through a city. They'll run right through it, or they'll be in it, and we've caught them in there. So that has, in the last 3 years, it has got me more thinking. There's more of them, or either there's more of them, or they're like more brave and they're heading out into the open land. And some people could say, well, there's not enough food in the mountains anymore. Well, that's not the case, because there's just as much critters in the mountains as there ever was. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense. And then some of them say, well, they're coming down because they just only love citrus, because they keep being seen in the citrus. Only that's not really true either, because they're being seen really all around, mostly around rivers and stuff like that. And so I started focusing my attention on where can they go in the valley and be not seen, and they can hide and they can move freely in the night all over the place. They could eat dogs and cats and goats and chickens and fruits and vegetables and nuts and berries, and the whole gamut. The even like the rivers have trout and catfish. I mean, there's shellfish. Uh, it's a smorgasbord down here, and as I think the population increases, I think that we'll hear more and more about these things in the valley. So that's those are the things that brought me to looking more in the valley, and I want to do way more looking in the valley. I still want to do some mountain stuff too because I think they're bigger in the mountains, but I'm not. See, that's a theory. They could be just as big down here, but only they're not afraid to come in the valley. Yeah, I agree, Adolf. Like Facebook changed a lot of that because now people can do a search and bring up names. I mean, that's how they find me. They Google, and they find me like that, and then they get a hold of me and say, tell me about, the Bigfoot that their kids saw. And I mean, the first one I ever interviewed was these two kids, and they saw a Bigfoot. I no doubt they saw a Bigfoot. I mean, they were saying some things that of what how a Bigfoot moves and things that Bigfoots do that you would have had to known quite a bit about a Bigfoot or been studying, or researching them for a little while, to know some of the things they said this thing did. And then you could tell, they changed their routine. They had like a routine of what they did every day, going to their friends and this and that. They changed every way. They didn't walk the same place they walked. They changed a bunch of stuff, based on that thing being out there. They didn't go out after dark. It's just it was interesting, and then one of them commits suicide, and I don't know the reason. I don't know if it was because people bullied him and made fun of him because he wasn't afraid to say he saw a Bigfoot. And I know that and again, it was he lived in the valley, he saw it in the valley, and I think he was telling people, his friends and stuff like that. And I have a feeling they weren't very nice to him, and but only he wouldn't like back off, he but people are that's another thing about the days that we live in. People don't have feelings anymore, like they're cruel, like they don't care if they hurt people, in fact, some people enjoy making people have bad days and stuff like that. And they will, I mean, bullying is like one of the main things, school shootings. I mean, come on, like we're living in a pretty terrible, like if you look at it one way, we're living in a terrible time. If you look at it another way, we're living in a blessed time, like no other time in history has it been like this, like uh, flying at 5 miles up in the air. You could you could take off in the car and head out and go on a big old giant adventure and travel miles, and be back before dark and in pretty much safety. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty much safe. Back in the day, you would have got on a horse and buggy, and it would have took you a month to do what you could do in a day today. I mean, we really, it is a different time. And we live in like this time that's like no other time. It's really interesting. Yeah, man, I don't think the bad people want to meet you. They'll be like, uh oh, here comes Sword Point, you know? But only, like I talk to my grandkids and stuff like that. Like, I've had a few a few things happen to them that, you know, really bothered me, you know, and they're lucky they're like way over in Indiana. Otherwise, I would have hunted some people down, probably be in prison over it for sure. Hey Ed, what's up, man? So yeah, so that's I didn't have much more than that. So I'm gonna play off a chat. Like, what do you guys want to talk about? I wanted to talk about the how, you know, why I'm focusing more in the valley, and I know there's a lot of new people watching, even not in the live, but later, and you know, I've been getting questions of, you know, what makes me think Bigfoot's in the Central Valley and staying in the Central Valley, and you know, what do they eat in the Central Valley? Well, I pretty much covered that right now. You know, they're in the valley. They're in the valley to stay, and they go farther in the valley than most people think. And I will keep trying to, or not trying, but I will keep going out and hitting areas. I have some friends that I've met. They're friends now, but they were like acquaintances or people that I ran into, and they have stories at different places, and I'll be bringing those too. But right now it's like winter time. Nobody wants to go out there and hang out for a long time, even in the valley. Like today, it was freezing, freezing to us. Probably not freezing to anyone else. You know, if you live where it's freezing, but only like 52. It was cold for us. But you're probably thinking, man, that's tropical. You know. Yeah. So I'm here for the questions in the chat. So everybody's trying to stay awake, huh? Like a really rough work week. I believe it. It's been a real interesting week for me too. Like really really a trip. So I need to put this out again. Let me see here. 270 2249, and that's the number 559-270-2249. And I'll put that in the chat. This is my 3G prepay phone. Hopefully it has a good enough signal. It's like buzzing. Hello.
Hey, Alan. How's it going, brother, man?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Good. Just wanted to fill you in. We've now got like two, or I take it back, three of the shooting kids' parents are major Democrat operators.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the funny one. The concerned mom, I sent you a text on this. The concerned mom that started up where, you know, all the students, you know, walk out of school and do the anti-gun garbage.
Oh, yeah, laying on the ground stuff.
Yep. Claire, and I got to spell the name because I'm probably going to mispronounce it because it echoes, but Schexnydr, Schnickner or Schneider, you know? She was a CNN anchor for over 17 years. That's that concerned mom. Yeah.
Whoa.
So, just too many coincidences, and, you know, I do not believe in coincidences.
No, and
the FBI's kid.
That's what everybody's losing their YouTube talking about. Hog.
Yeah.
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 As soon as they start talking about hog on their YouTube, bam. And then I heard you had a YouTube hit, even.
Oh yeah, I got a strike, and I didn't even post anything. It was on. I was gonna do it, and it was funny because afterwards, I looked it up on my channel, and I did the primer, and me and my mentee, who I helped train, were getting ready to start our show. my show on that. And it was on the gray man concept. And at first I'm like, well, maybe it got hit because I said gray and man. I said something about color, and I said something about, I'm a sexist or I'm a racist. So I kind of laughed a little bit. And then all of a sudden I started thinking, and I talked to a friend of mine, and I guess with OBS, that's the system or the program I use, that it holds metadata from your last video, and all I can think of is maybe some music got captured while I was waiting for the green light to turn.
Uh-huh.
And so that metadata, he said that even if you don't put anything in, they're looking for metadata from the last video. And so it could have been the music, or what was it? He said there was another, the picture, because it was the same picture. I hadn't changed it yet. They could have thought I was a bot. I'm a Russian bot, Alan. Who knew?
That's a trip, man. That's a trip. I know two people though. They have like 50,000 subscribers or more, and totally like legit channel, no strikes, no anything, and they lost their channel overnight. 3 strikes.
Yeah, I had my
all at one time.
I had
Bam.
my channel. I had my channel since like '08, and I just wasn't able to get into it until. But the good news is I got a contract, so I'll be leaving soon.
Yeah. I noticed that on some posts that you're going to be back out there making some money, huh?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Cool, man. You could be one of the white hats and
always
take care of these idiots for us. Be
That's
the cleanup, whatever you call it.
Yeah, I specialize.
Yes.
So, yeah, it'll be fun. But I just, like I said, man, I didn't want to interrupt your program and disturb it, brother.
No problem.
But those two things, I felt like I said, 3 more of those, all 3 of those kids were outed as being both in the drama, or no, 4 of them. All four of them were outed as being in the drama club and in the journalism club in high school. So just some more stuff to chew on. And the one drama queen that looks so androgynous.
Yeah, little blondie.
I guess that's the best way to describe her. She's a real piece of work from what I heard. So. Well, I think you'll enjoy.
I was tripping out because, when you watch most places that have something really bad happen, especially with kids, and especially when the kids are the ones on the, being interviewed and stuff, they're emotionally unstable, right?
Right.
And these guys are partying and doing selfies and everything. I mean, like, what in the world? Something's weird with this one. And then I noticed the one kid that everybody's losing their channel over, because of who his dad was or is. And then I did do a little bit of research on my phone, and I could find pictures of him all over the place doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
he's like a hired hand.
Yes, he has been in numerous different areas whenever there's something stupid going on. And it's just like in federal LEO, I know what I'm talking about, or intelligence. It's like the mafia. You never are really out of it. You may be out, but you're never truly out of it.
Right.
And
Yeah. Well, I knew you've been talking about doing what you're going to do for a little while, and I know it gets in your blood, you know what I mean? Like, only you get, like, I'm a firm believer that if there's these things in you, and if you want to do it while you can do it. You know what I mean? If it's something you really want to do, get going, and I know you're turning getting almost pushing 50 or whatever. So it's time, if you're going to do it, get busy, go have some fun and do it to it. And because you won't be able to do it forever.
I've been doing it since I was 17, and I'm 49 now. and it is an addiction. I tell people it's the one addiction that you go into knowing, you know, it will kill you.
Right.
I'm just surprised I'm an old man in a young man's game.
Wow.
There must be a reason for it. Yeah.
Well, you must be good at it. See, now you could be the mentor.
I don't know about that.
You know, you may.
I don't know about that. I love you, Alan, brother, but you
Love
know,
you, man.
I'm not gonna be that superficial. But yeah, I guess I'm okay at it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you were able to like be breathing still, so you know you're pretty good. You know,
Yeah, it's
just a
my
little
feet on
bit more
terra
smarter
firma.
than the other guy, maybe, huh?
Yeah, or a little bit of a better shot.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still walking on the ground and not under it, so it's kind of cool. I
Right
got to meet
on.
you, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah,
man,
brother,
that
I didn't
is,
want to mess up your show. I just wanted to call in, fill you in on what I found out, because you know, I'll always keep you in the loop on anything. Because
Well, I'm
you got it like
gonna
that.
you got the other number that you called on the first time.
Yeah, I sent a text to that one too. I wanted to make sure it was you. I just said Alan.
Okay, and
Because
then
I didn't say it like an idiot.
well, I was an idiot, and I didn't like put you in what do you call it, like the contact list. So then I'm going through all these numbers. I'm like, oh man, which one was it? You know. So I'm glad you sent me a text. Now I know which one to add to the contacts. And then I'm not going to have Messenger. I had Messenger on the phone. Only the YouTube one kind of ate up all the RAM on it. You know, on the phone part. Between it and Facebook, it's like sucking it all up. So hardly. I mean, I can't even have a flashlight on it. You know what I mean? You know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I know that's how it's intended to be. You know what I mean? Like, they want you to spend more money on that other phone with more memory, you know, and I won't. I refuse.
Exactly.
You know? Yep.
Exactly. Just buy a new SIM card and be done with it. I got you. I understand completely, brother.
Well, I have the biggest SIM card in it, thinking that I could have, you know, do that, but only there, maybe back like 6 years ago you could do that, where you could install them on the apps on the SIM card. Can't do that no more.
Right.
It has to be on the phone, you know. So the SIM card's only good for your music and your videos and stuff like that. You know, it's ridiculous. And then there was an option for me to move Facebook to the SIM card, and it put 33 megabytes. That's it. You know, and it was 960. It was almost a full gig, you know, the Facebook thing. So it only put like a third of it on the actual SD card. I was like, oh man.
Well, that's why I always use a flip phone, brother. I'm still old school. I'm not going to let them track me, and it's a pay-as-you-go phone.
Right.
Never use a credit card to top it up. Always pay cash.
Right.
And that way, even though they're tracking it, they do with the geolocation system.
That's this phone right here that we're talking on right now. Like, I could go and toss it. I could send it back airmail, you know, get going about 60 miles an hour and toss it out the window. And they can track it right to it, you know, but they'll never know who had it or what was going on, you know. So I love
know it, brother.
Yeah. I learned a lot from you, though, believe it or not. I pay attention, you know. And in fact, everybody out in the audience should be paying attention, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's awesome, dude. Your show's awesome. I can't wait. I can't live stream, but I can record. We'll talk another time.
Okay.
And you can walk me through OBS so we can record this.
Okay.
And that way we can still do the program. It's just not going to be live, folks, on my end. I got 3 months zucked because of some reason. I didn't even upload the video. That's what's so stupid is no video, no live stream happened, and they just showed my entire live stream ability. And, you know, I told you I never do monetization when I was setting it up and we were doing it. They demonetized me from no monetization. Brother, this makes me laugh so hard, man. YouTube is just I'm thinking about going over to BitChute or something.
Yeah, well, they have
We'll
one
figure that
called
out when we talk.
there's one called DTube or something like that. I'll find the link and send it to you, and you can talk about anything you want. You know what I mean? It's not being it's like an open source thing, and in fact, a lot
Cool.
of a lot of people's been telling me I should move everything over there. Download all the movie or the shows I have, and then move over there. And if they ever do anything, I can still like use that. It just doesn't. You have to build a base, unless everybody follows you
Yep.
over there.
Well, I definitely will be doing that too, brother, because all the shows we've done so far, I still have on my computer,
Uh-huh.
and so I can transfer them there, and then we'll just figure out what we're going to do after that. But yeah, so I just wanted to let the people, all 19 of them who follow me, if any of them are on this page, let them know that I just can't live stream anymore, but I'll be downloading and I can still upload. So
Cool.
that way,
So
I'll keep it going. But wanted to put you in the loop on that too, brother, man.
right on,
And
man.
we will look at the B shoot or whatever it is. All right.
Yeah.
God bless, brother. You be well, be safe, and much love.
Okay, man. Same back at you. You have a good one, and try to
All
stay
right.
warm over there.
I will, brother. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so he's going to go back to war, you guys. Everybody be praying for him. Because that's not an easy thing to get over there. And, I think he's excited, we talk all the time about what's going on. I was earlier talking about this time that we live in. Well, there's a lot of stuff happening that I can't talk about behind the scenes, that some of our warriors are getting excited about. I mean, they want to get in the mix. You know what I mean? They're finally seeing things go back to how it's supposed to be. They're starting to see daylight at the end of the tunnel. They're seeing that the good guys might win, and they want to go back and get involved and help the cause, And I feel good that there's guys like that that are in there already and are all signing up to go back and be the good guys, and because we need that like so bad. That was Kaiser. Is my mic muted? I'm showing that I'm working. Is something going on that I should know about? You guys aren't hearing me? Huh. Oh, okay. Good. Oh, right on. Yeah, so I'm excited for him. I'm excited. I'm excited that he's doing what he loves to do while he still can. See, that's the main thing. Like I believe all of you guys out there, everybody in chat, um, everyone should be like, if you're a full body able person, like not full bodied, but a fully able, or do whatever you can do anyways. And I mean, even if you can't, there's some things you can't do, focus on what you can do and do those things, and try to check off those bucket list items while you can, because I mean, for me, it's squatching. It's going out squatching. I know I can't to follow Sword Point 9, which is Kaiser. And you guys all know him. I mean, like, you can see him on. I know he won't toot his own horn, so I'm going to toot his horn for him a little bit. He's the guy that shot the giant, the Kandahar giant. That's Kaiser. Sword Point 9. all you do is in YouTube type sword point 9. Oh, and then it's not letting me. You type that in a search in YouTube, and it'll take you to his channel. And there's several of them. I mean, there's a few sword point 9s, but if you look through my subscriber list, if you can, I'm not even sure, but I think you can look at my subscriber list. I have him subscribed, and he could you can find him there and subscribe to him, because you're gonna hear about things that you won't hear from the news. I guarantee it. And it's going to be the truth too, and it's going to be coming from the guys that are winning, the winners. But I tell you, a few years ago, we were not winning. Okay, we were losing. We were losing our rights. We were losing. We were losers, really bad losers, and everybody needs to wake up. And it doesn't matter who our president is. It doesn't matter, all that doesn't matter. What matters is there's a war going on, and it's real, and it's happening behind the scenes, and the freaking pedophiles and the New World Order Illuminati folks are on the run, man. We got them on the run. I mean, they own YouTube. Why do you think that when the truth starts coming out, they start deleting people's YouTube channels? We're winning, okay? Even though it might seem like we're losing, we're winning. We're winning. They're fighting back, but we're winning. And that's the coolest thing, okay? That we're winning. We are winning. And we need to support our guys that are in there in the heat of it, and quit being little whiny wimps out here crying about every stupid little thing they throw them in the news to divert our attention, to get us whining about, because we're winning. And that's like they're trying to give a diversion, divided we fall, united we stand. Where one goes, we all go. I mean, keep that in mind, okay? If we divide ourselves, we fall. They win. If we stay united, where one goes, we all go, okay? We win. We win. There's more of us than there is of them, and they know it. So it's something like for me and Kaiser. I mean, we met a long time ago, and it actually, like, my interest was the giant thing. I think the giant that Kaiser killed, that his men and him took out, is related to the ones we're chasing around down here in the Central Valley. The ones related that, oh man, I gotta find his name now. I seen him. Come on, I want to say hello to him. Brown Dwarf. The ones Brown Dwarf are following, and I've been watching your videos, man. The good videos. I love the footprint one, but I think they're related. I think all this is all related. I think that, I actually think, when it comes to the Sasquatch, that it's more than what we think it is. I mean, I go with Ron Moorhead on that. That they lie. Okay. So they're gonna act like or be like something to make us think they're like that. Okay. And then when it comes time for the veil to drop completely, the charade is up. The real deal's about to hit the scene. When that happens, they're going to take on the true nature of what they're here for. And man, will it be a shocker. And I hope none of us taste very good, because I think that's what they're going to do. Is they're going to be hungry. And if you read the Bible, you'll find out that there's coming a time when animals are going to lose their fear of man. It'll be supernaturally taken away from them. So even your best friend that you have sitting by your feet right now scratching fleas, even that guy's going to turn on you. Okay? So there's coming a time when this is going to happen, and maybe we are living in those times, right? Maybe we're living in those times. Maybe we get to see this happen. We taste like chicken. Oh man, that's so funny. I know where the fastest chicken in the world lives. Yep, I sure do. Oh man, I can't remember the country. It lives in the fastest chicken lives in the country where there's the most starving people, Ethiopia. Yeah, that's where the fastest chicken lives. Because if he isn't fast, he's dinner. Yeah. Yeah, one of my really good friends was a giant. For a long time, I known him for a long, long time. He passed away recently, a few years ago, but he was actually the giant in the show To Serve Man. Right? He was the one loading the people on the UFOs. That was a good friend of mine, Richard Kiel. And I mean, we sat and talked about that. It was one of that wasn't one of his favorite shows that he did, but one of his favorite ones that he did was it Egaw or something like that, where he was like a caveman guy. Remember that? That was one of his favorites. Was the Egaw, and then he was on the Monkeys, and he said that was a real hoot. He loved the Monkeys. And then Jaws was his other one, because he got to do a lot of they were going to kill Jaws off at the first time they brought him out. They're going to kill him off. He's actually the only bad guy that they never killed. Okay, in the James Bond movies, he came back like 3 times, right? And then at one point, he even got to be the hero, right? And that was his idea. That was one of the places where they were going to kill him off. But he became the hero, and he had the little bitty girl, and they saved James Bond, And they actually made it through that somehow. They got on their own escape pod and they got away. So I mean, like, he was the only bad guy in James Bond that ever lived. And, he talked a lot about it. Like he said, the steel teeth that he wore, they hurt really bad. He said he barely could wear them. And he said when he was filming in some of the other areas, places in the world, he had to have 2 beds that he would line them up, end to end like that, so that he could be comfortable. And when you went to his house, in fact, this is another little thing, and I'll quit talking about him. Yeah. When you went to his house, everything was normal at his house except his bed. That was the only thing that was not normal. It was oversized, right? Because he wanted to sleep comfortable. And one day I asked him, we're sitting in his living room, and he's sitting in this recliner, and it looks like it's about to, like, just, just fall under the weight of him, because he was around 500 pounds. And this is before he got hurt, where he could walk and everything. He was huge, man. Huge. I'm serious. He was a big guy. Not a skinny guy either. He wasn't no skinny little guy. He was big. Like big. Like a Bigfoot. I mean, he was huge. And he's sitting on this recliner and he didn't look comfortable at all. And that's the recliner he sat in and watched TV and hung out with his family and everything. And I asked him, like, why don't you have, more furniture that makes you more comfortable? I mean, it's your house. You should have like big chairs and, bigger plates so you could have, instead of getting three, you know, helpings, you could just bring all one helping. Because, I mean, he had to eat more than everybody because he was bigger. And he told me that the reason he did that, the reason that he made everything normal for normal people in his house except for his bed, was because then he would leave and he would be comfortable wherever he went, because wherever he went it was normal stuff. So he wanted to be normal, like be comfortable normal. The only place that he wanted to have extra, not normal, would be his bed. So, like when he went to a hotel, he had two beds pushed together and that was his bed. But other than that, he wanted everything to be normal so that he was comfortable and he could sit and talk with you and everything and not be dreaming about his big chairs and everything at home. In fact, I'm pretty proud of his family. I mean, one of his number one son is a cardiologist now at the hospital, and the other ones are doing really good. I know his daughter, way back a long time ago. I was hired by him to do videos for him, like video biographer. And his daughter was actually, at the time, we were following her around, and she was in these beauty pageants, and she actually won Little Miss USA, right? Like it would be like Miss USA, only she was Little Miss USA. She was little, and she was the winner, and she won. She was a gymnastics champion, and I always thought she should have went to the. I always thought she should have went to the Olympics, but I guess like how the Olympics fall in the every 4 years thing. It fell where in her age thing where it didn't work for her, but she still was like state champ and Little Miss America, and I mean all of that. I mean, she's a beautiful lady now, even still. But yeah, he was really humble. Something, and I know something. I only really good friends know that went to his funeral. He believed in God. I mean, this guy was a serious believer in God. Serious. I mean, that always impressed me a lot. And when his funeral, when we went to his funeral, it wasn't like a normal funeral. I mean, when we went inside, there was a lot of people. I would say there was probably 200 or 300 people. Only like really close people, though. There wasn't hundreds of fans or anything there. Mostly was, I knew most of them. You know what I mean? It was like friends, the good friends. And we went in, and he had like bluegrass bands playing. I mean, this is all prearranged by him. Okay, they made that very clear. There was to be no crying. We were going to party. It was going to be a party, not a funeral. So like this bluegrass band played, and then a few people got up that worked with him, and they talked about how, some of the funny things he did on the set, on the James Bond set, and, just all the really neat things that he did in life that he loved. And they talked about it, and everyone was laughing and having a good time. And it was almost surreal, like, because, that's not like funerals, but it really was fun. And then when it was over, we all went outside, and while we were in there listening to the stories and the bluegrass and all the bands, they were setting up desserts outside. And I mean, they were setting up desserts, like table after table after table. I mean, there was desserts that was wrapping around the whole building. There was a kitchen with nothing but ice creams, right? Everything that could go on an ice cream, a topping, all that stuff. There was cakes. There was tables of cakes, every kind of cake. There was tables of cookies, pies, cupcakes. I mean, like candy bars. I mean, everything that was sweets, desserts, all that stuff. It was all laid out like nothing I ever saw before. It was like a buffet of everything you could think of that was a dessert. And it was all with this theme that we're going to party. There's going to be no tears, right? Everyone was going to have a good time. And it was so fun, I mean, like, if when I go, I hope everybody parties like how he arranged it, because it was really cool. And then hanging out with people I hadn't seen in a long time. And I know I'm like way off subject, but we are talking about a big guy, though. Squatch size, right? I mean, serious. This guy was big. If you ever met him, you know what I'm talking about. He was a big guy. And enough of that, huh? Yeah. But just that's a little insight on Mr. Richard Kiel, James Bond. May he rest in peace. And I know he is. And I know he's probably having the time of his life. And I know he can walk again. You know, all I know is, Richard, I'll meet you in the parking lot. Yeah, right on. Okay. So, yeah, sorry I went off on that, but I know a lot of people don't know that side of him at all, and I mean, he was an interesting guy and smart. Oh my God, he actually was working towards a law degree, and I mean he was a smart. I think the law degree was towards real estate, but smart guy. Not only was he big, he was brilliant. In the brain, he was brilliant, and his heart was big, like for reals. And then it was huge on kindness and stuff like that. I would take him after he got hurt. He actually rolled over. He had a van and he had an accident on this really dangerous road that goes to Yosemite. Yeah, it's called Highway 41, and it's dangerous. People passing on double solid line, on curves, stuff like that. And he had a near like a near head-on collusion with someone, and he went off the side of the road and he rolled his van. Well, he couldn't fit in the seat belts, right? I mean, he could barely. The van, he had to have a sunroof put on it. It was a full-size van too, one of the extra long ones. So they had to have his seat moved way back. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's bigger than Shaq, right? And he had to open the sunroof for his head to fit, but he went on a rollover and he hurt his back pretty bad, and he couldn't walk for a while. But it didn't stop him from, it did not stop him. He's actually like a role model to me on that. He had every reason to go home and stay home and not do another thing. You know what I mean? Like, he was in a lot of pain all the time. He could barely walk. He rode a little scooter everywhere. Well, I would give him rides to places, where he would sign autographs and stuff like that. And he would sit there in a little metal chair for 5 hours and never let on that he was in pain, and hug everyone and smile and greet everybody and talk to them and sign autographs and do pictures with them. And I mean, he would do that like all day. and never complain, never grimace. The only time he grimaced was we had a little deal, going that when people would bring their camera to take a picture with them, he would put his hands on their shoulder like that, one on each side, or if it's just one person, he would put his hand on their shoulder like this, and his fingers would, go way down their chest. But he told me, like prearranged, that don't take the picture when it's just, wait until he grabs him around the neck and pulls him to him and goes, ah, like that. And then every picture, that's when I snapped the picture. And every one of them, the people were like, and he was like smiling and growling and everything. And every time I took the picture, right when he said, that was when he wanted it taken. And yeah, he was real strong. You couldn't get out of his grip. I know that, man, if he had a hold on you. But the funny part is some people will get angry, but what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? You want the little happy shot, where he's posing with you and he grabs you in the headlock and growls and your face goes all freaky, and that would be the picture. And he wouldn't take another picture where it was him being nice, right? And I thought that was so great. It was one of my funnest times hanging out with him, was taking pictures of people. I heard Jeffrey was sick. Somebody told me because somebody I know, a relative, they said he was sick and couldn't do it. But okay, now I'm done talking about talking about the giant. I actually think the giant that Sword Point 9 killed was even bigger than the Sasquatch that we're chasing around and Richard Kiel put together, probably like 15 feet tall or something like that. Big giant. And then, I talked with Richard Shaw, and Sword Point knows who I'm talking about, and he was telling me that one of the reasons that when they were shooting the giant, they started saying shoot him in the face. It was because they could regenerate, right? So they were shooting the body and everything, and they regenerate. They have that DNA that regenerates. So they had to shoot the head and then cut the head off in order for it to be dead, all the way dead. But I actually believe there's a whole bunch of those things ready for this time that we're living in. So the Bigfoot are gonna one day let us know what their real job is here, or their real reason for being. And I actually believe that there's some of those under the ground, and they're like in suspended animation or whatever you want to call it, and they'll be popping out. And I have a feeling, because like in that time, the Bible says that people's hearts will fail them for the fear of what they see, right? So if your heart, my heart almost failed by looking at a Bigfoot one time. I can't even imagine if there's an army of them coming, right? My heart will fail me. Even armed, I will wind up falling on the ground dead, from fright. Yeah, I can't even imagine. But I can imagine that because of how things are going in the government right now, and the really nasty stuff that they're digging up, that we're finding out, like the pedophilia, and that's tame. Okay, the pedophilia part's tame. Can you believe that? That's tame. When it starts getting into the spirit cooking and drinking human blood, and that's so sick. what's really bad is the pedophilia and the drinking the human blood. That goes together, right? Like normally it's those little kids that they're killing, and that's the ones they're eating and drinking the blood of, because they're without, they're like innocent and virgin or whatever, and they're supposedly supposed to get life force from that. That's why they do the rituals and they do that. I mean, that's what the whole intention is. It isn't. It's sick, 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 sick. But we all know that, well, at least most of us know, the Sasquatch, way back 500 years ago, there was a war right around here, and I heard there was one in Oklahoma as well, about the Bigfoots that would run through the village in the night and take the babies, right? And they would eat them. I mean, so this isn't new, you know what I mean? That, like, what I'm talking about, like, there isn't anything new under the sun, like this has been done before, and it it's sick, sick, sick. I tell you. Howdy, Andrea, and Eugenio, and James, and Pam. I was gonna show you guys Pam's shirt. I know she's like chomping at the bit, and I do need the help and everything. But I'm gonna hold this shirt up and show you guys Pam's work, and I know she's selling them in some other places too. Oh, step on my cord. And I don't know how much you're selling these for. Hi, Winter. Hi, how are ya? I seen you earlier. Remember? I don't know how much you're selling those for. Let me see. But only I have two for sale. And this one is a. Let me see what size. They're tagless, but she put a tag on it because of what the artwork that she put on it, in order so that you could take care of it properly. This one's a large, and I don't know how much she's selling them for, but I'll sell it for exactly how much Pam is selling them for. So whoever wants this shirt, all you have to do is put the amount in the PayPal, and my PayPal is up in the top right corner of my YouTube. Put that in there with a little note saying that you're buying this shirt. And I think I think she's selling them for like 25. And this is a Gugwe, okay? And she wrote on there, I think it's called a Type 3 Bigfoot. And I have two of them. So this one's a large. So if you're interested in, and I don't know, this shirt, the only thing is I only have one large. So if like 10 people put the money in there, I'll get with her and get some more and send them to you guys. Because I actually want to help her too sell the shirts. Have another one here. She has this one also she made. Okay, and this one's an extra large, and I think I'm gonna keep that one for me. Yeah, and then I have another Gugwe Type 3 Bigfoot one, and that one's a 2X right here. So I'm keeping this one, the one that looks like this, and don't bid on that one. So I have a 2X and an extra large of the Gugly. Two shirts. Yeah, I have. I also have. I also have some shirts that I made, designed. If you go up on my YouTube channel and you go over, there's a thing called Teespring, and I have them on coffee mugs and shirts, and you could order your size and color and your design too. So I mean, like anybody that wants to buy any of those, and I'm adding designs all the time. Like every month or so, I add a design, and I did have it. I think it just ran out. I had free shipping on them as a promotion, and I'm gonna go back and turn the free shipping back on tomorrow, so you could buy a shirt and it'll be free shipping. And I also have I have some posters that people sent me to sell to help raise money for the computer that I want to buy. And I'm flattening them out. They came rolled, and what I'm gonna do is I'm flattening them out, and then I'm gonna frame them in a poster frame, not a real expensive poster frame, but once I get them all framed and everything, I'll bring them on and I'll show everybody the posters, and then I'll put those up for sale too. Because I mean that's what everybody sent them to me for, and some of them are signed by famous people in the Bigfoot world. Hi, Christina. In fact, Christina sent me a T-shirt. It's one of my favorite ones. I wear it all the time. I'm not today, but I'm actually wearing one I got at Felton Museum. It's a one of a kind shirt, but I wanted to bring that up. That I have these things. I got off track here recently, all kinds of stuff going on, and I've got away from fundraising or anything. But if you notice, I put a video up of some RC planes that, and I did not intend on putting the RC plane video up. I really didn't. It wasn't. I didn't. I wasn't doing it to show RC planes. But while I was out there, I like that kind of stuff, and so I'll take video of things that I like. So I'm out there doing the laundry, and these guys are in the parking lot in the back, and they're doing these planes. And while we're there, this cop comes and starts telling us that somebody called in a plane wreck, right? A plane crash. And it busted me up, man. And the guys that were flying the planes too, they thought that was so funny. And I caught that all on video. So I have a little bit of video of the plane, this guy doing acrobatics with his RC plane, and then you hear the conversation with the policeman, and then a few minutes of I think it's not more than 10 minutes, and I edited that together, and I did it on my computer, and it took a long time to edit it. Can't wait to get a computer that I could edit on and actually add music and cuts and special effects, and then when I go out on my field trips, when I shoot like 8 or 9 or 10 hours of video, I can come home and break it down into like 30 minutes and cut it all up and add music and get the high points, and my computer can handle it. My computer can't handle that much. That's why I'm raising money. Anyways, so 70 degrees, man, that's humid. The Giants and the Dogman, YouTube, Google. I have a few Dogman sightings. Dogman mostly what I know about them, hey fire dude, what's up, man? Is the ones I know they're skinwalkers, and there may be something more. Yeah, that's what I heard. It might snow in where I live. Like the other day it was 72. I mean, day before yesterday it was 72 degrees. And you know what I tell everybody? In our area, anyways, every February we get a fake out. It goes to 70, 72, 73 for 2, 3 weeks in February, every February. And then all of a sudden it goes back to winter all the way, and it snows and does everything, and we're all busting out our shorts and t-shirts there for a couple of weeks, and then bam, winter comes back, and we fell for the February fake out one more time. Let's see. I've heard of the dogmen in Fresno area. In fact, they're recently over by Clovis Community Hospital. I don't want to scare anybody that lives over there, but recently there's been some animal mutilations over there and sightings of these dogmen. And actually, the dogmen sightings goes back about 5 years. Only I didn't believe it so much. But only when the animals started turning up missing, and then finding animals that were bloodless, right? They're dead. Their neck is twisted behind, like all the way around, like a 180, and their guts are ripped out of them, but there's no blood. And the only thing eaten out of the little animals, it was sheeps and goats. Excuse me. Um, was the heart, the liver, all the rest of the meat was there, right? The muscle meat and stuff like that, but the heart, the liver, the kidneys, all that kind of stuff was gone. All the lungs, they ate that kind of stuff. The brain. I can't remember what kind of meat you call that, but that's the only thing that was missing. The guts were actually ripped in half, like the stomach and intestines. Like whatever did it was strong enough to grab the intestines and stomach and then pull it apart and then throw it down like that. I don't know anything that is strong enough to rip a intestines or that kind of flesh. The organ meat was all eaten, but only everything else was left. Everything else, and the guts were ripped out, and it was like ripped, like torn ripped, not cut ripped. So there was no blood. All the organ meat was missing, and the intestines and stomach were torn in half, ripped in half, and we were getting dogman sightings over there in that area. And what was really weird, I mean, this to top it all off, to make it like the weirdest, the sheeps and the goats that I'm talking about, like most of them just turned up missing, okay? But there was two that were left in the field where they were, but it was a 6-foot chain link fence. They were inside of a 6-foot chain link fence. Okay, now I know dogs can jump over a 6-foot chain link fence, and I know mountain lions can jump over a 6-foot chain link fence. But I know that they can't jump back over holding a 120-pound goat. Right? So they would be stuck. They would eat it right there. And then if it was a cat, there would be blood all over. It would be all ripped up. I mean, you would be able to tell an animal did it, like that kind of an animal. But the ones that were left there was no blood, only the organ meat, and the stomach and intestines were ripped in half and thrown to the side. I mean, first it was ripped out of the gut out of the animal and then ripped in half and then thrown to the side, and there was no blood. Even though the animal was laying right where it was killed, there was no blood. So whatever did that drank the blood first and then ripped the animal up. And also, the ones that were missing, like something like 11 of them were missing, went over a 6-foot chain link fence with the animal. And sometimes high as 2 animals at a time. So whatever it was could carry 2 animals over the fence, a 6-foot fence. Like, and I don't know anything that could do that besides a human. And then we found later, like half a mile from there, we found like because of my research and actually Jeffrey too, I got to give him credit. We were talking about where we were seeing Bigfoots and finding Bigfoot, so we decided to look in the areas where the Bigfoots would be, and we found this spot like a half a mile away, and we split up and was walking through this little 2-acre wooded area, and then as we got in there, there was this horrendous, bad, dead smell, and all of us, there was 3 of us, and we all kind of coming from different areas, followed the smell, and we wound up meeting right at the dead goat. It was like 125 pound. When it was alive, it would have been about 125 pound buck. And Jeffrey took that one home, And I'm glad it rode in the back of the truck. I'm going to tell you that much, because it stunk, man. You could smell that thing for like 50 yards. It was bad, really stinky. Yes, Fresno has tunnels, systems, caverns, and there's even. I was just talking to somebody about that recently. I was saving this for another show because I think Bigfoot uses those tunnels and stuff like that. The military is being sighted out here at this one place. Black helicopters landing. And I don't want to say too much because it's something it's an ongoing investigation, and only we did chasing UFOs out there. So if you go back and look at chasing UFOs, you can see the area I'm talking about, and it's the place where the white 4x4 van was following us, and then when it realized that it couldn't get out any other way and we were coming up on it, like we were going to question the guy and stuff with cameras and stuff, all of a sudden the guy split and drove by us and got out of there. But only now they put a gate up, and I have video of it. I'm going to take better video because it was in the night when we were over there. Me and Baron von Strauss, that's what he wants me to call him. We were over there, and there was a big fence, and that is like really close to where the Dogman sightings are, and also it's really close to where the underground tunnels are, and supposedly underground bases over there with UFOs coming out of them. That's why we had chasing UFOs over there. But I'll be bringing more on that because that's an ongoing thing right now that I'm doing right now, and it is an old Army installation. In fact, a lot of the tunnels, if you get into them over here where I'm talking about, and you follow them, you come out where it was actually a Japanese internment, where they kept Japanese during the Japanese War. And so I mean, it's there's interesting history there, and the tunnel runs for I think 11 miles or something like that. And I don't know how many more there are offshooting. And then I heard of rooms or cavern rooms that the military were using where people have stumbled into them and then came and told me about it. And then they can't find it again. And we spent a whole day out there looking for it, and the guy couldn't find it again for some reason. But he said it looked like the 1940s, and they left everything sitting there. It was like somebody was sitting at a desk, the pencil, the papers, the everything was there. It looks like somebody got up and walked away and then never came back. And so we went looking for that. We've actually looked for that one a couple times already. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's what I heard too. That the and actually, like, they're engineered by the military and genetically modified with the DNA coming from what Sword Point 9 killed. So they're taking the DNA, and the deal is fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Okay, so the giant that Sword Point 9 killed, and there's been more than one killed, they can smell DNA. So they're the perfect hitman. And they're making these critters, right? Using the DNA, mixing the DNAs, and especially the giant, like the giant that Sword Point 9 killed, because it has the DNA of being able to sniff out human blood. You know, I mean, it's interesting, huh? Real interesting. See, I've talked to a few people that tell me that they are genetically perfect. Okay, and some of them are the ones I talked to, they were twins even, right? So they have twins, but they're genetically like perfect, or they have high IQs. They have um, perfect symmetry. They are a little bit stronger than most people, and they even look like they are. You know what I mean? I've talked to like several people like that they say they're MK Ultra, also DARPA, um, and that's what's going on right now. With that's what's going on, and they really don't have. They thought they had parents, but then they found out all they had was handlers. And they think they've escaped, but they found out they really didn't escape. In fact, I was talking to this one guy and his wife for a couple of years, and all of a sudden they dropped off the map. I haven't seen them since. I don't know what happened. And it's one of those things where you have the conversation and you leave your phones in the trunk of the car and then take off walking a half a mile, even though they still told me that they could still hear us if they want to. You they could lock in satellites and hear our conversation through satellite. That's what I hear. It was interesting. Somebody leaving? I know I should be leaving. Huh. Yeah, the MK Ultra and the Montauk. Lot of stuff going on, And when you really start researching this stuff, and this includes Bigfoot and all that stuff, it goes way back. It goes back to the 30s and 40s. I mean, I have a feeling that Germany had done a lot of the science on this stuff, And it's really lucky that we're not speaking German today as a language, to tell you the truth. I mean, they were smart, and I think we took advantage of that. I actually believe that Operation Paperclip was a success, um, and they may even be behind, like the people that did all that may be behind our dark deep state. I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, you guys. I'm just going on years of research and reading, and then talking to a lot of different people. Like, I was looking through. I have all the videos of the shows that me and Jeff did. They're all private, right? Jeff made me make them private, and there's probably like 300 shows that I have, over 1.5 million views. Okay, that he had me shut off. Only I was looking at the names. I mean, we've interviewed a lot of people. I mean, a lot. And, I thought, man, I should write down all these people and call them back and interview some of them, because there's some good ones. I mean, interesting people, real interesting. That but I think the dogmans aren't on our side either. I think they're on their side. The only thing that's going to save us is guys like Sword Point 9, that in the military, that have access to technology that we don't have. That's the only thing that would save people, because it's technology that could kill these things. Um, that's actually why they want to take our guns away from us, because we can protect ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, if they sick the dogs on us, we could kill the dogs. What was it I heard? Solid copper is the only thing that takes out the giants. It has to be a solid copper bullet, not a copper plated bullet, a solid copper bullet. And I heard that a long time ago. And so, like, I know they're making these things happen so that they're using fear to make us afraid, more afraid of what the next idiot on drugs is going to do, that really is set up to do it. And I mean, like, these are planned things, right? They're using that to scare us into disarming ourselves. And really, we should be more scared of what's going to happen if we do disarm ourselves, right? That should be a bigger fear than if we disarm. Like, what happens if we totally disarm and then they turn loose the Dr. Moreau stuff on us, right? And then we can't fight back. We're just sitting ducks, we should be more afraid of that, honestly. Right, exactly, Sword Point. That's what I heard, but I heard, like, it's harder for them to recover from the copper, like, if it goes through their body. They're still regenerate, but only it does more damage or something like that. I don't know. And I heard that from Steve Quayle a long time ago, and I might be all wet, I don't know. But I do know you have to behead them. It has to be beheaded. That you're 100%, man. Even the Bible says they had to be beheaded, because they'll come back to life. They might be laying there dead for a minute or a little bit, but if you don't behead them, they will come back to life. They'll regenerate. So that was the whole idea to cutting their head off. Everything hates fire. That's pretty funny. See, I'm not afraid of zombies. Like, just get you a whole bunch of shotgun shells, and a couple of good shotguns. And zombies, they fall apart. Man, you could take them suckers out, man, with a street sweeper. Yeah, street sweeper. Man, just go through there, just mowing them down, man. Oh, that's funny. Man, the 50 Barrett, that's pretty big. I bet that hurt. You know what? I always had a question about that. When you were shooting him, like I know he had, and I know this is a rough spot for you, but I know he was holding one guy up, and he was your friend, but he had him on the pole, right? And he's holding him up in the air, and he's trying to get you guys with it, right? With one guy on it, and he's trying to like skewer another guy. And when you were shooting him, did the bullets even have any effect on the body part? Like you know how when guys get shot, like like with a 45, you can knock somebody on their butt with a 45, but was it even like making him vibrate or anything, or was he just like coming at you until you guys started shooting his face? And was that like just messing with him for a minute? You know what I mean? Until, like, I always wondered about that. Like the thing about skewering somebody and then coming after to grab somebody else up with the pole, that is freaking scary. That's scary. And when I see what the Bigfoots have, okay, sounds good. But I seen the logs that Bigfoot picks up and carries around and stuff like that, and blocks the road and throws. I mean, like, these are like telephone poles that they're freaking doing. I think I gotta turn it up. Hey, brother, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Right
Anyways,
on.
yeah, this is the last I really want to talk about it because you know what I went through after
Oh yeah.
going through talking about it. But I'll tell you this:
Well, that's how come I never
at
brought it up
seemingly,
to you,
it
man.
I know and I respect you for that, but I'll answer it since you put it out publicly, brother.
Okay.
Um, seemingly no effect. It didn't even seem to slow him down, and that's why one of the brothers, and they do a flawless edit because I accidentally spelled his name, and he's on my page, so you've probably seen him comment on my stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know who yelled first, but I know we all yelled it, shoot him in the face. It's like we all clicked in on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it didn't slow him down, didn't seem to knock him back. And then once we were done, uh, L.A. and Richard know this because this was all, they didn't, it was such a, the afterwards, the longest part of the story.
Right.
The rest
Yeah.
of it took about 30 seconds. And, yeah, there were, like, from the first team that got there, they had hit him in the body. And those wounds were seemingly healing.
Right.
I don't even know how to explain it. But, yeah, everybody just shifted fire to their face. And basically, I didn't realize what had happened until I was talking to L.A. and Richard. We were just joking around and stuff. And then they're like, so what did it look like? And I told them, and we basically blew the back of his head off.
Right.
and going through the front.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically our bullets decapitated it. And that's why they have that picture that the artist rendered of it. And that's a fairly accurate picture of what it looked like.
Dang, man. Well, I think
All right.
I think the government's after their DNA. I actually
I
think
don't,
that's what it is. You know.
I don't know what happened to it after it left my visage. So, you know. Anyway, so
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
like I said,
I won't bring it
you're
up
my
again,
brother.
man. I promise I
All right.
won't. And I thank you for
No
even
worries.
coming out with it. That somebody was asking, and I thought you were gone out of the chat, and I'm like, well, you guys all know who he is, really, you know. When I said who it
Yeah,
was, they're like, oh yeah, okay, you know, because
yeah, like I said, only because we're brothers, you know. But yeah, that part of it never got into the movie, but both L.A. and Richard know,
right,
you know, that part of it. And like I said, the story never changes because it was real.
right.
And
Well, a lot of people don't
all
even
right,
know. Like when you shoot something, the biggest hole is on the other side. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the more you shoot it,
yeah,
the bigger the hole gets on the other side, and it might not look bad on from the side you're looking at, but when you roll that sucker over, it's gonna be, you know, hamburger.
yeah.
You know,
He was hammered. Anywho,
true.
I'll let you go, brother.
All right, man.
All right,
I'll
thanks,
talk
man.
at you
Bye.
later,
All right.
man. I'm so glad he called back. That is that's interesting stuff, you guys, and I promise I won't ask you again, man. I promise. I don't think everybody heard about that part, anyways, because, but I think that I think the government knows about them. I know they shot more than one. Uh, I think they're after the DNA, and I think they want to play with the DNA. I mean, it's the era of the DNA. It said that in the days of Noah, so shall it be like the days of now. When they talk about they were eating and giving in marriage and stuff like that, eating and drinking. What do you think they were eating and drinking? Do you guys know? They're eating they're eating humans. They're cannibalizing. That's what they were doing. And taken in marriage, it didn't mean that they were all getting married. It meant that the fallen angels were taking women and marrying them and making giants. That's what they were doing. And then the giants were eating the people. Like they would like enslave all these people to feed them. That was your job. Feed the giant, right? And then when you couldn't make the food fast enough, you became the food. And that's how it was before in the days of Noah. In fact, even the animals they messed with, they said everything was messed up. Well, where do you think Tyrannosaurus Rex and stuff like that came from? All them big old huge beasts. They were giants too. And you'd have to be a big dude to be able to walk around without those things munching you out. You know what I mean? So the titans and giants were huge. They were huge enough where they could smack a Tyrannosaurus or have it like a pet. You know, I mean, come on. Think about it. Think about research. Think about it. Like, the stories aren't gonna be exactly how everybody's putting it. The Bible will be exactly, but it leaves out a lot of details. But if you go back and look at the history of everything and you look at what they're digging up and you look at what's been said about it and what the myths are and legends, you could piece it together if you just think about it long enough, you know. You start putting that puzzle together. It's a scary puzzle to think that that's the way it was then and it's predicted to be like that in the latter days, which I think we're living in. So, you know, just think about that, you know, mull it over in your head. It's a scary thing, but I think that we have guys like Sword Point 9 on our side, you know, a whole bunch of guys. They're all the good guys. Um, you know, and not I'm not saying they're angels, You know what? None of us are. Nobody's an angel, okay? Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect, okay? Not even the president is perfect. Nobody's perfect. So we can't be expecting anyone to be perfect if we can't even be perfect. But we can expect them to be on our side and to be fight for what's morally right. And I mean, what we would think, we can even do that not being perfect. For us, our biggest weapon is in a name, in the one name. And everyone should get familiar with that name because it makes things run. Things that will look like they're going to eat you will run away from you as soon as you say that name. And I've done it over so many times. It's unreal. I've done it in Africa. I've said that name in Africa. And I watched interesting things happen. Here in America, I've been attacked by weirdo people that I think are demon possessed because I went there and it was supposed to be a demon possession and we're going over there to investigate, right? And the only thing that saved me was one name. And I saved everybody else too because nobody else knew to say it. Nobody knew. That thing was going to eat us for lunch. That name is Jesus Christ. That's right. That is that name. Find that name and learn who that is because that person's alive and they are the only thing that is above everything. Just a little secret weapon. Well, you guys, I got to get out of here too. I told my wife I would not spend, because I get on here and I can go 3 hours, 4 hours. I start having so much fun, and I love interacting with you guys in chat. Believe it or not, yeah, it does work if you don't believe in Christ. It still does work. The only problem is they might run away, but they might come back with 10 more. And then you're going to get your lunch. Then they're going to eat you for lunch, right? Just remember that, because they'll fake you out and they'll make you think that you have power using that name, even if you don't believe in it. So they'll fake you out. They're all liars, right? So you use Jesus' name and it runs away and you're like, oh, it works. So then you keep trying it and it works and it works. And then you get overconfident and then a whole bunch of them show up and you're like, I got this. And then you say it and then all of a sudden, you're gone. And so is everybody that's with you. So sad. But so you better believe, and the guy's real, man. All you got to do is ask. He'll have a relationship with you if you just ask. Honest. I mean, that's what most people don't do. They don't try to have a relationship. And you got to have that, And it doesn't mean you got to give up anything, okay? That's the biggest lie the devil wants everybody to think, is you got to give up. You got to stop being this and doing that and cussing and blah, 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 blah. You don't got to do anything. Just believe in him. He will work a change inside of you, and you'll start noticing that you won't want to do some of the things that you do, and you'll just start changing, and you'll just be different. And then people will be like my wife looking at me like you're a heathen. What, how come you're not being a heathen so much as you used to be? I used to be a heathen. I'm a heathen still, but I mean, like, I was a bad heathen, okay? I was a bad heathen. Only all of a sudden your desires turn different. The things that you want and make you happy are different. So just remember that, okay? Just remember that. Yep, gotta go, you guys. She's coming in to check on me. But I want to say I love you guys. I'm praying for you all in that name. I pray for abundance, blessings on all of you, health. I pray for everyone's health. I command cancer to die. I command bones to mend. I command nerves to grow back. I command blood to be whole, bodies back to what they were supposed to be in that name, Jesus' name. Amen. And we shall see you all later. You guys are great.